So this is a video that I really did not want to make, but here we are. Let me pause real quick to just give you some context. So right now I'm currently setting up a dry start tank, and the goal was to dry start flame moss to create a mossy aquascape. As to what will happen, you'll see in a second, but here I am, all enthusiastic, not really prepared about what's to come next. So basically, long story short, I burnt the flame moss. When I first made this dry start, I was misting it, and I left a corner open for gas exchange, just like you would do with any other dry start, and I've had success with this in the past. And typically, my rule of thumb is so long as there is moisture on the glass, you do not need to touch it. And yeah, that's kind of what I live by for this setup. And the thing is there was moisture on the glass pretty much all throughout this, and I wasn't really paying it too much thought because I was trying to put it out of my head because I get really impatient when I do dry starts. So I was just trying not to pay too much attention to it because I was excited, right? But lo and behold, the moss was slowly dying as I was neglecting the tank. So the thing is that flame moss, especially when you're dry starting it, has a lot of light sensitivity and you need lower to medium light. Otherwise you will burn it. And I thought I had this light set to medium lighting, and I went to check it, and lo and behold, it was completely maxed out. Yeah, it really it really does suck. It sucks so bad, and I'm pissed because the thing is not only did I put a lot of effort into this tank and the hardscape, but I spent a lot of time filming the intro of a video that I thought was going to be a really good video, and the fact of the matter is that is just life. Sometimes shit does not work out, and it sucks. Even if it's a really stupid mistake that could have been easily avoided. So, yeah, there we have it. I feel like I owed you guys an explanation because a lot of you guys were commenting on this dry start. You saw it in the background of other videos, and a lot of you guys were like, "Oh, what is that? What's that in the background? I see you're doing a dry start." And I was just kind of like, So, yeah, there it is. My failed dry start attempt because the lighting was too high. Or that's at least what I think it is. I'm sure there's other factors involved as well. So if you guys are an expert on flame moss and dry starting flame moss, definitely chime in the comments below. Keep it civil. You know, I already feel guilty, so don't be an asshole. But let me know, like, what are your experiences with flame moss? What are things that have worked for you when dry starting flame moss? So all that being said, not all of the flame moss is dead. There is some growth in here, but it's just not enough to justify waiting this long for a dry start. Like I want to move on. Hopefully you all understand that. Um, but the one rock that does have the flame moss on it, I'm gonna put that in a jar and continue to try to do something with it. We'll see what that manifests into. But as for this project goes, I want to move on. And yeah, for what it's worth, I learned my lesson. Don't use highlighting when dry starting flame moss. Got it. Alright, so we're going to start salvaging this tank. Luckily, the hair grass in here is still like doing somewhat well. It is kind of turning brown for some reason, so let's go ahead and let's plant it in one of my shrimp tanks. So this right here was one of the more successful pieces. There is quite a bit of growth on here, and I think that was because this one was more or less under the driftwood, and it sort of had shade. So I'm actually going to keep this piece, and I'm going to continue to work with it, and maybe we'll see it in a future project. Alright, here we are at the Tank of Despair, or at least that's what it used to be called. It's not called that anymore. I made a community post a while back. I'm still trying to decide on a new name for it. But, yeah. Let's plant the hair grass in here, and while we're at it, we'll do like a slight rescape session. Just trim it up a little bit. As much as I want to share my successes and the creations that I make and the development process of an ecosystem and the growth, that we accomplish throughout the weeks, sometimes things just don't work out. And the best thing we can do is just learn from those mistakes and just apply it to the next thing, apply it to your end, and do better moving forward. So, yeah. Hope this was relatable to you. If you're someone who's like struggling in the hobby, don't give up. Just keep doing research, keep learning, keep educating yourself. We all start somewhere. Even through having this YouTube channel and exposing myself to a community of people, I have learned so much more than I had already known before starting the channel. And that is, this channel is like 2 months old, and I've already learned a lot. Just having everyone's perspectives. While I was at it, I had this tiny piece of dwarf Sagittaria that I decided to plant. Alright, so we gave this tank a little trim, cut the embulia back, cut the hair grass down a little lower, as well as adding some new plants from the salvaged dry start. So yeah, it's always cool to see this tank evolve, and I'm glad that we were able to repurpose some of the stuff from the failed dry start project. So thanks for watching everyone, and hopefully the next video will have a more successful outcome. Peace.